There comes a moment in life when we must pause and ask ourselves, what truly matters? We chase dreams, build empires, and seek the approval of men, yet deep within there remains a hunger that nothing in this world can satisfy. There are those who walked before us, men who understood that life is not just about success, but significance. They carried a fire within them, a calling that could not be silenced. Tonight, as you hear these words, let them stir something in your spirit. This is not just another name, not just another story. It is a testament to what happens when a life is fully surrendered to a higher purpose. What does it mean to live with conviction? To stand firm when the world sways? To walk a path that demands faith, courage, and unwavering dedication? This is more than a lesson. It is a call to rise, a call to recognize that destiny is not found in the opinions of others, but in the unwavering pursuit of truth. If you are searching, if you are longing for something greater, then listen closely, because what you are about to hear has the power to shift your life forever. There comes a moment in every life when a choice must be made, either to drift through existence following the patterns of the world, or to surrender completely to a purpose greater than oneself. Many chase ambitions, wealth, and recognition, believing that fulfillment lies in achievements and applause. But true fulfillment is never found in the pursuit of self. It is found in the surrender to something eternal, something that outlasts the temporary crowns of human success. Those who make the greatest impact are not those who simply strive for influence, but those who willingly yield their lives to a divine purpose. There is a difference between living by personal desires and being led by a calling. A life surrendered to purpose does not seek comfort or convenience. It does not chase opportunities for personal gain. Instead, it bows before a higher calling and moves in obedience even when the path is uncertain. Those who have truly surrendered are not consumed by fear, nor are they distracted by the shifting opinions of the world. They are anchored in something deeper, something unshakable. They understand that their lives are not their own. And in that understanding, they find a freedom that others will never know. Surrender is not weakness, it is power. It is the power to walk away from worldly expectations and step into a destiny that cannot be measured by human standards. Many hesitate at the thought of letting go of control, fearing that they will lose themselves in the process. But the paradox of purpose is this: only in yielding do we find our true selves. Only in yielding do we discover strength beyond our own limitation. The greatest leaders, the ones who have left an undeniable mark on history, were not those who sought to build their own names, but those who gave themselves completely to something beyond them. They did not ask, "What do I want?" but rather, "What am I called to do?" A life surrendered to purpose is marked by unwavering commitment. It does not waver in the face of difficulty or shrink back in moments of trial. It presses forward, knowing that the journey will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Many dream of making a difference, but few are willing to pay the price. Surrender requires sacrifice. It demands a willingness to lay down personal plans, to let go of attachments that hinder growth, to trust when nothing makes sense. Those who answer the call understand that the path of purpose is not about personal gain, but about eternal impact. There will always be voices that seek to discourage, to distract, to convince the surrendered soul that the cost is too high. The world will offer its own version of success, one that seems easier, more comfortable, more appealing to human desires. But those who are truly surrendered do not measure success by temporary rewards. They are not moved by applause, nor are they discouraged by rejection. Their eyes are fixed on something beyond what can be seen, something that does not fade or wither with time. They walk with a confidence that is not their own, a boldness that does not come from human ability, but from an unwavering trust in the one who called them. History remembers those who stood for something greater than themselves. It does not celebrate those who merely lived for their own comfort, but those who poured out their lives for a cause beyond personal ambition. The ones who changed the world were not always the most talented, the most educated, or the most naturally gifted. They were simply the ones who said yes, yes to the calling, yes to the cost, yes to the unknown path that lay ahead. They did not hesitate. They did not turn back. They did not let fear dictate their choices. They moved forward, fully surrendered, fully committed, fully aware that their lives were meant for more than just existing. There is no greater fulfillment than knowing that every step taken, every word spoken, every sacrifice made is part of something eternal. A life surrendered to purpose does not chase after temporary success because it understands that true impact is not measured in wealth or recognition, but in the lives that are transformed through obedience. It is a life that is not led by emotion, not swayed by circumstances, not controlled by fear. It is a life that is completely yielded, completely given, completely abandoned to the call that echoes beyond time itself. There will always be moments when the weight of opposition feels unbearable, when the voices of doubt grow louder, when the pressure to conform becomes relentless. It is in these moments that the strength of conviction is tested, where the foundation of belief is revealed for what it truly is. Many begin the journey with passion, but only those who have anchored themselves in something unshakable will endure when the storms come. It is easy to stand firm when there is no resistance, but true faith is proven in the fire when everything around seems determined to break it. Opposition is not a sign of failure. It is often the greatest confirmation that the path being walked is one of purpose. The world has never celebrated those who refuse to conform. It does not applaud those who stand against the tide. Instead, it seeks to silence them, to discredit them, to make them question if the cost is worth it. But those who are truly unshakable do not move based on the acceptance of people. They do not compromise to avoid criticism. They do not waver because the road is hard. Their faith is not built on emotions, nor is it dependent on circumstances. It is rooted in something deeper, something that does not bend under pressure, something that cannot be stolen by adversity. To stand firm in the face of opposition is not to deny the reality of struggle. It is not to pretend that battles do not exist. It is to walk through them with a confidence that is not found in human ability, but in an unyielding trust in the one who gives strength. Every great life that has ever made an impact faced resistance. There has never been a leader, a voice, a movement that changed the world without meeting opposition. It is the nature of truth to be challenged, to be tested, to be fought against, but truth does not bow. It does not crumble under pressure. It stands unmoved, unbroken, unwavering. The temptation to conform will always be present. The pressure to soften conviction, to dilute the message, to make it more acceptable, more comfortable, more appealing to the masses will always be there. But those who are unshakable understand that truth cannot be altered to fit culture. It cannot be reshaped to avoid discomfort. It must be upheld, even when it is unpopular, even when it is misunderstood, even when it brings rejection. True strength is not found in the ability to please people, but in the courage to remain firm when every force demands compromise. Many begin with passion but falter when faced with criticism. Many start strong but allow the weight of opposition to drain them of their conviction. The journey of faith is not about how well one begins, but about the endurance to finish strong. There will be attacks. There will be seasons of discouragement. There will be moments of isolation. But those who remain unshaken do not draw their strength from external validation. They do not depend on the approval of the crowd. They know that the value of their calling is not determined by how many stand with them, but by the one who called them in the first place. Fear is the weapon that opposition will always use. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, fear of standing alone. But fear is powerless in the presence of unwavering faith. Fear cannot dictate the steps of those who are rooted in something eternal. When the world says to back down, faith says to press forward. When the opposition rises, faith rises higher. When the storm rages, faith stands firm. There is no defeat for those who refuse to be moved by fear. There is no loss for those who do not measure success by worldly standards, but by obedience to their calling. The battle is not against people. It is against the forces that seek to silence truth. It is against the distractions that attempt to weaken conviction. It is against the doubts that try to erode faith. And in this battle, victory belongs to those who stand, not those who shrink back, not those who compromise, not those who walk away when it becomes difficult, but those who plant their feet, who refuse to be shaken, who understand that their mission is not to be accepted, but to be faithful. The world will always challenge what is real. It will always resist what carries true power. But those who stand firm do not fight for personal gain. They do not stand for their own reputation. They stand because they know that what they believe is worth more than comfort, worth more than ease, worth more than the fleeting applause of man. And because they stand, because they refuse to be moved, their impact will not fade. Their influence will not be forgotten. Their legacy will not be erased. A single voice, when filled with conviction, can move mountains, break chains, and shift the course of history. The world often measures influence by numbers, by popularity, by the size of a following. But true impact has never been about the masses. It has always started with one person willing to stand, one voice refusing to be silenced, one message that carries the weight of truth. The greatest movements, the greatest awakenings, the greatest transformations did not begin with crowds. They began with a single heart burning with purpose, a single mind fixed on a vision, a single life dedicated to something beyond itself. Many believe that in order to change the world, they must have power, wealth, or a platform that reaches millions. But history proves otherwise. The world has been shaped by those who simply dared to speak when others remained silent. It has been changed by those who refuse to let fear dictate their words. A single voice, carrying truth with boldness, can penetrate even the hardest hearts. It does not need permission. It does not need validation. It does not need the approval of the world. It only needs the courage to rise and speak, even when no one else is willing. A voice filled with conviction is not measured by volume, but by depth. Many speak, but few are heard. Many shout, but their words fade into the noise of the world. It is not about saying what is popular, what is accepted, what is easy. It is about speaking what is necessary, what is right, what is eternal. Those who change the world do not speak to please crowds. They speak to awakened souls. Their words are not crafted to entertain, but to challenge, to stir, to ignite a fire that cannot be put out. They do not conform to the shifting opinions of people. They declare what remains unshaken by time. The weight of a single voice is not in the words themselves, but in the life that backs them. Words without conviction are empty. They inspire for a moment, but fade just as quickly. But when a person speaks from a life fully aligned with truth, Their voice carries power, it carries authority, it breaks through barriers, it moves people, not because it is eloquent, but because it is real. The world has enough voices that echo each other, enough words that say nothing. What it needs are voices that are unafraid to stand alone, voices that do not bend under pressure, voices that remain steady when everything else wavers. There will always be a temptation to remain silent, to shrink back, to blend in, to avoid the weight that comes with speaking out. The world rewards compliance. It praises those who say what is convenient, what is acceptable, what does not challenge the status quo. But those who truly carry a message do not seek approval. They do not trade their voice for comfort. They understand that silence, when truth must be spoken, is a betrayal of purpose. They know that holding back when the moment demands boldness is not wisdom, it is fear disguised as caution. One voice can ignite something that cannot be stopped. It may start as a whisper, unnoticed, overlooked, dismissed, but truth does not need immediate recognition to be effective. It does not need instant acceptance to make an impact. A voice that speaks truth with unwavering conviction will echo beyond its moment. It will find its way into places no one expected. It will stir hearts long after it has been spoken. The influence of one voice is not determined by how many hear it at first, but by how deeply it resonates over time. There will always be resistance. There will always be those who try to silence, to dismiss, to discredit. But no opposition can erase the power of a voice that refuses to be silenced. No criticism can undo the effect of truth that has been spoken with boldness. When one person chooses to stand, they give courage to others. When one voice rises, it creates room for others to follow. It sets a precedent that it is possible to be unshaken, that it is possible to remain steadfast, that it is possible to speak even when it costs everything. A single voice, when aligned with truth, does not fade, it does not disappear with time, it multiplies, it spreads, it ignites something in those who are ready to hear. It moves beyond generations, beyond borders, beyond limitations. It carries something greater than itself. It becomes more than just words. It becomes a force, a movement, a fire that continues to burn long after the one who spoke it is gone. The world constantly tells people that success is measured by applause, by recognition, by the approval of others. From a young age, people are taught to seek validation, to build a name that others will celebrate, to chase achievements that will earn admiration. But the truth is, the value of a life is not determined by how many people applaud it. It is not measured by fame, by wealth, or by the number of followers. It is measured by something far greater, something that does not fade when the spotlight dims, something that does not disappear when the crowd moves on. The worth of a life is found in the impact it makes, the difference it leaves, the eternal significance it carries. Living for applause is a pursuit that will always leave a person empty. The approval of people is fleeting. One moment they celebrate, the next they forget. One day they cheer, the next they criticize. If a life is built on the foundation of public approval, it will always be unstable. It will rise and fall with the changing opinions of others. But when a life is built on something deeper, when it is lived for something beyond personal recognition, it stands firm regardless of what others say. The applause of the world is temporary, but the impact of a life lived with purpose is eternal. Many have fallen into the trap of seeking success by worldly standards, believing that to be known is to be significant. They chase achievements that will gain attention. They shape their actions based on what will bring them the most praise. They measure their worth by how many people acknowledge them. But true fulfillment is never found in being known by the world. It is found in knowing that every action, every choice, every step taken is aligned with a greater purpose. The greatest lives are not the ones that are celebrated by men, but the ones that are faithful to their calling even when no one sees. There is a difference between success and significance. Success fades. It is temporary. It is built on things that do not last. But significance carries weight beyond this life. It is not measured by wealth or recognition, but by the lives it touches, the seeds it plants, the legacy it leaves behind. A person can gain everything the world offers: fame, fortune, influence. But if their life does not leave an eternal impact, it amounts to nothing. The greatest regret is not failing in the eyes of people, but realizing that a life was spent chasing things that never truly mattered. There will always be a temptation to seek recognition, to measure worth by how many people are watching. But the most meaningful moments, the most powerful decisions, the most life-changing actions often happen in secret. They happen when no one is looking. They happen in the quiet sacrifices, in the unseen faithfulness, in the choices that are made, not for applause, but for impact. A person does not need a platform to change the world. They do not need a crowd to affirm their purpose. They only need the courage to be faithful, even when no one acknowledges it. A life lived for eternity does not waste time trying to impress people. It does not adjust itself to fit into the expectations of others. It does not seek validation from those who do not hold the power to define its worth. It moves with clarity, with conviction, with an understanding that every moment counts, that every decision carries weight, that every act of faithfulness is seen, even if the world overlooks it. The greatest rewards are not found in the approval of men, but in knowing that every step taken is one that aligns with the purpose set before it. Many have traded their destiny for temporary recognition. Many have sacrificed purpose for popularity. Many have compromised their calling in order to fit into the mold that the world has created for them. But those who live for something greater, those who refuse to be distracted by the fleeting applause of people, those who fix their eyes on a purpose that outlasts this life, they are the ones who leave behind something that cannot be erased. They are the ones whose impact does not fade. They are the ones who, long after the world has moved on, have left something eternal behind. It is easy to live for the moment, to make decisions based on what brings immediate reward. It is harder to live with eternity in mind, to make choices that do not always bring instant recognition, to remain steadfast when the world offers easier paths. But those who choose the latter are the ones whose lives truly matter. They do not waste time chasing applause, because they understand that the value of a life is not in how loudly people cheer for it, but in the depth of the difference it makes. There will always be moments in life when the weight of responsibility feels overwhelming, when the demands of purpose seem too great, when the path ahead appears too uncertain. It is in these moments that many hesitate, many turn back, many begin to question whether they are truly capable of carrying what has been placed in their hands. The temptation to shrink back, to settle for something easier, to walk away from the calling that demands everything is always present. But those who make a lasting impact are not those who seek comfort, nor are they those who wait for perfect conditions. They are those who rise despite uncertainty, who move forward even when fear whispers that they are not enough, who understand that the weight they carry is not meant to be a burden but a gift. The greatest assignments are never given to those who feel ready. They are not handed to those who have already figured everything out. They are given to those who are willing, to those who, despite their own weaknesses, choose to step forward in faith. The world often tells people that they must have all the answers before they begin, that they must have every detailed plan before they take a step. But purpose does not wait for perfection. It calls even when a person feels unqualified. It demands action even when doubts remain. It requires trust even when the future is unclear. Those who wait until they feel completely prepared never begin. Those who wait for absolute certainty never move. But those who understand that purpose is greater than personal limitations, that calling is bigger than comfort, that obedience matters more than feeling ready, they are the ones who step into something greater than themselves. There is always a choice. A person can spend their life running from what they were meant to do, or they can embrace it fully despite the cost. Many allow fear to keep them from stepping forward. Fear of failure, fear of inadequacy, fear of not being enough. But fear is not a sign to turn back. It is a sign that what lies ahead is too great to be accomplished alone. No person who ever changed the world did so without walking through moments of fear. No one who ever fulfilled their calling did so without moments of doubt. The difference between those who impact eternity and those who fade into obscurity is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear decide their actions. Many believe that purpose will always feel easy, that the right path will always be the most comfortable one. But the truth is, the greatest callings always come with challenges. There will be moments when exhaustion sets in, when obstacles rise, when everything inside says to give up. It is in these moments that character is revealed, that commitment is tested, that endurance is proven. The ones who finish their race are not those who never struggle, but those who refuse to quit. They are the ones who do not let hardships define them, who do not let setbacks stop them, who understand that perseverance is the key to fulfilling their purpose. There is a weight that comes with responsibility, but that weight is not meant to break a person. It is meant to strengthen them. Growth does not happen in ease. Transformation does not happen in comfort. True strength is not developed in seasons of convenience. It is in the pressing, in the stretching, in the moments when quitting seems like the easiest option that the foundation of greatness is built. Many wish for purpose without sacrifice, for impact without effort, for a path that is free from struggle. But those who leave a mark on history understand that nothing significant comes without cost. They embrace the weight of their calling not as a burden, but as a privilege. There will always be an easier road. There will always be a way to avoid the demands of purpose, to settle for something less, to choose comfort over conviction. But those who truly understand what is at stake know that taking the easy road is not an option. They recognize that their life is not just about themselves, that their choices impact more than just their own journey, that what they carry is meant for more than their own benefit. They do not waste time comparing their path to others, nor do they look for shortcuts to avoid the process. They know that everything they walk through is shaping them for what they were created to do. The weight of purpose will always be heavy, but it is only unbearable for those who try to carry it alone. Those who surrender, who trust, who walk in obedience despite their own uncertainties, find that they are given the strength they need for every step. They are not defeated by difficulties. They are not crushed by expectations. They are not swayed by the doubts that try to weaken their resolve. They walk forward with a confidence that does not come from their own ability, but from the assurance that they are exactly where they are meant to be. There will always be moments when the path forward is unclear, when the next step feels uncertain, when the weight of responsibility seems too great to carry. Many allow uncertainty to paralyze them, to keep them from moving forward, to convince them that waiting for perfect clarity is the only option. But those who truly understand purpose know that clarity is not always given before action is required. They know that waiting for every detail to be revealed before stepping out is not faith, it is fear disguised as wisdom. The greatest moments of breakthrough happen when a person chooses to move despite not knowing the full picture, when they refuse to let uncertainty keep them stagnant, when they understand that obedience is more important than understanding every detail before taking the first step. Many hesitate because they do not feel ready. They wait for the perfect conditions, for a moment when they feel fully equipped, for a sign that guarantees success. But the truth is, readiness is not about having everything figured out. It is about having the willingness to trust beyond personal limitations. No one who ever stepped into something great felt completely prepared. No one who ever fulfilled a calling knew exactly how it would unfold. The difference between those who impact the world and those who remain in the background is not their level of preparedness, it is their willingness to move even when they do not feel ready. Those who wait for certainty often remain stuck in the same place for years, watching others move forward while they remain trapped by their own hesitations. But those who understand that purpose is revealed in the process, that clarity comes with movement, that growth happens when action is taken, refuse to wait for the perfect moment. They step out, they move forward, they trust that what they need will be given as they walk. Fear will always try to convince a person to stay where they are. It will present every possible reason why stepping forward is risky, why staying comfortable is safer, why it is better to wait. But fear is a liar. It exaggerates the dangers, magnifies the obstacles, and blinds a person to the possibilities that exist beyond their current circumstances. Those who listen to fear allow it to dictate their decisions, to steal their opportunities, to keep them confined to a life far smaller than what they were created for. But those who refuse to let fear have the final say, those who recognize it for what it is, those who move forward despite it, discover that fear loses its power when confronted. The moment a person steps beyond their fear, they realize that it was never as powerful as it seemed. They realize that the real danger was not in moving forward, but in remaining stuck in a place they were never meant to stay. There will always be uncertainty, always be unknowns, always be moments when the way ahead is unclear, but uncertainty is not an excuse to remain idle. It is an opportunity to develop trust, to build resilience, to walk with confidence even when the road ahead is hidden. Many wait for perfect understanding before they act, but those who walk in purpose understand that faith requires moving even when the details are not yet revealed. They know that the answers do not always come before the journey begins, that the strength they need is often given along the way, that the doors they are looking for will only open once they take the first step. They refuse to let what they do not know stop them from doing what they do know. They move forward with conviction, with determination, with the assurance that even if they do not see the full picture, they are exactly where they need to be. Comfort will always try to pull a person back. It will whisper that staying where they are is safer, that avoiding risk is the wiser choice, that waiting is the best option. But comfort is deceptive. It seems appealing, but it is often the very thing that keeps people from stepping into the fullness of their potential. Those who achieve great things do not do so by choosing the easiest path. They do not remain where they are simply because it is familiar. They push beyond what is comfortable. They step into the unknown. They embrace the challenges that come with pursuing something greater. They do not allow comfort to rob them of their destiny. They understand that growth is not found in staying the same, that transformation requires stepping into new territory, that everything they were meant to become is on the other side of their willingness to leave behind what is familiar. There will always be a reason to delay, always be an excuse to wait, always be a justification for not stepping forward. But those who truly understand purpose do not allow excuses to hold them back. They do not waste time waiting for a guarantee of success. They do not allow fear, uncertainty, or comfort to dictate their choices. They move with urgency, with conviction, with an understanding that every moment matters. They refuse to let opportunities slip away because they were too afraid to take a chance. They know that the cost of staying the same is far greater than the risk of stepping into something new. They choose to move, to trust, to embrace the journey, knowing that the greatest moments of their lives will not come from waiting, but from stepping forward, even when they cannot yet see the full picture.